HorrorDeconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Hit that thumbs up. Share the channel to people so they can know. With your host, Komp and
Blur.
And today's film is
Blood Conscious 2021. Or as the cool kids say, 2020.
Blood Conscious 2021. A vacationing family turns the table on a mass shooter who claims to be fighting demonic forces. Directed and written by Timothy Cavell. Starring Ogunero Gabaje, Deshaun White, and Lenny Thomas. Yes. And anybody
the names got easier as they went.
And anybody who says they didn't like this movie is a filthy racist. So, Danny, what do you think about this movie? I'm kidding. Anyway, so why I picked Blood Conscious, I don't know what I was just looking at. I guess movies that were coming out in 2021, and I saw this ticked up there, and the leads were African American, and you don't really see that in horror films unless it's like some sort of social commentary shit, which I guess a little bit plays in here. But I just wanted to see this type of film because it looked like it was on a low budget, which it is, and it had one of my interests, which is psychological thriller horror type of films.
Yo, you're really smart. You like your psychological.
So I decided to pick this one, and it was funny because when you originally we were supposed to do Howling Village, which is a Japanese horror film. I guess you probably would have liked that better.
You said you didn't like it.
Well, I mean, I'm like about an hour into it, and about an hour and 48-hour movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, this is sort of like, imagine watching, like, if you know Kids Bop. You know, like, you know those albums where
it's like just a ripoff. It's
just like the greatest hits of sort of a Japanese horror film, and that the guy who directed that is the one who did. I'll do an episode on that by myself, but it's essentially like the guy who did the original not the Grudge, the original film Ringu. Like he's continuing with that, and it's just like, wow, there's like nothing sort of new here, sort of thing. But I guess you know if you're looking for that type of film, that's like perfect type of movie for you. But anyway, so I said, let's not do that. Let's do Blood Conscious. And I saw your text back to me, and it was like, well, you sure know how to pick them. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. So I was like, it might be good or bad.
This is the second one in a row.
Of what? A bad movie for you?
Yeah, that other one, Nadja. I wasn't.
Oh, you didn't like Nadja? Okay, so I guess we'll eventually talk about that when Thea's done counting her piles of millions of dollars. So with Blood Conscious, this film is essentially about these three people. It's this young woman named Brittany, played by Deshaun White, with her fiance Lenny Thomas, who's playing Tony, and their brother-in-law played by Kevin. I'm gonna butcher that guy's name. The guy who played Kevin, I was looking at him throughout the film, and I was like,
he looks very familiar.
You know who he looks like to me? Dougie Doug. You know the actor from, what was that movie? Cool Runnings? The one who played Sanka, like the funniest
It's been like 20 years.
I
don't remember.
I saw that in the theater, and I cried at the end of it. Like I did, because they were all like, they lost, and then they just had their, they were holding their, whatever that, what was it?
Spoiler alert.
It was based on a true story, so I guess people would know. And they're all walking to the finish line with that device that they're riding in. Bobsled, I guess. And I was just like, ooh, crying at the end like a loser. But anyway, so these three people, he looks like Dougie Doug. And if you've ever seen Hanging with the Homeboys, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, he looks like him. And I actually thought it was his son. If you look at Dougie Doug, you'll be like, oh yeah, it looks like this guy Ogunero. Anyway,
I don't believe you, and I will never look at the.
So these three people, they're driving up to. He's like 19 years old. And the couple is a little bit older, obviously probably in their early 20s. They're driving up to this, I guess, in Bear Country, which are these nice houses.
Yeah, they say that like 4 times. They're going to Bear Country.
To remind people. So they go up to, I guess, meet up with their parents to have an off-season sort of vacation with each other. I guess
because the couple is Brittany and Tony are engaged, so I guess he's never met the mom.
I guess it would be weird if that's the case, but I guess it's not too weird in these type of days. And so they go up there, and what they do is they stumble upon a massacre. So there's been a shooting, which is...
there's people dead everywhere.
taking the lives of people. So I don't think we should get into major spoil. Should we get? Fuck it, let's do
we should get into major spoil. Everybody's
so
seen
they
it.
walk into, and then they eventually cross. Nobody's seen this movie besides us, but we wanted people to watch it. But they cross. Well, I want people to watch it.
Do we?
I do. So they cross paths with a supposed crazed gunman played by Nick D'Amici as the Stranger, and then hilarious weirdness ensues. So, Danny, what was your issues with Blood Conscious?
Well, first of all, let me say good things first.
I'm waiting for it. Go ahead.
I really liked the music. I thought the music was cool.
Yeah, good. I actually really like that opening theme song. It's very ominous.
It was like a good
spooky,
score or whatever kind of like
really
weird Beachello shit's going on.
I think it was two guys that did the soundtrack, but it's very good.
And the acting was like okay.
I actually disagree with you on that, but go ahead.
That you think it was bad or good?
I think the gunman was fine, but I think that these people, if they're all worried about the gunman saying that there's people that are demons that are acting as humans, I think then everybody in this cast is a demon.
This brings me to the next point. That's the directing.
So let me just get to my point of these people have a bizarre reaction to seeing their families gunned down. Like,
yeah,
the only time there's any real emotion is off camera, because you could only. I don't think these people were capable of emotion for the most part of this film. Like, the believable character I would think is Tony, the actor Lenny Thomas, the fiance.
Yeah, he was probably the best.
He's probably the best actor in the film with the stranger guy. I actually like the Margie character, the Laurie Hamill, the crazy Karen.
Yeah, she was cool. I liked her.
She was like a Karen. They found a way to put a Karen in this film.
She was horrible. Yeah.
But as Oganero and as Kevin and Brittany, who's played by Deshaun White, like they seem like they don't have any human fucking feelings in this movie, because their mother and father were gunned down quite like horribly. Like, they actually stumbled onto their bodies. And not one of these people sheds a tear in this film. It's like they don't know how to cry. And the only time you hear Brittany cry is off screen. You only hear her crying off screen, because I guess the director was like, well, shit, I couldn't get this actress to cry or something. But there's not one person shedding a tear.
Did you ever see I Love New York, that reality show?
You do bring that show up a lot, but no,
I do. Okay, so anyway, there was a spin-off of that called like Charm School, and then there was another one where they had to do like this, competition to get money. I think it's called I Love Money.
Right,
whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of the things, there was this guy like Chance.
Money was the girl, right? Money was the woman.
They were trying to get the girl. Yeah, there was this guy named Chance, one of the contestants, and one of the things was he had to cry to win the contest.
Oh,
so
no.
They were like blowing cigar smoke into his eyes. He was like, they were rubbing chili on his nose and stuff. It was the funniest thing.
That sounds like worth watching. Yeah, I guess the director didn't use those in this. Oh, I guess maybe he didn't. Just had the same effect. But yeah, that was my big thing about this. I know you obviously have more bigger problems with this film, but the fact that those two characters showed no real emotion towards their parents being gunned down. I guess they sort of had emotions, but it was more paranoid.
I really think it's the script and the director. I don't blame the actors.
Yeah, some of the dialogue is a little stilted. I'm coming from this, like, I give sort of low. I guess I'm even when we see low budget films.
Yeah, you give them a little slack because
I give them a little slack, but if it's like unforgivably awful, then I'll be like, Jesus. Like, I can see something that's like really bad but funny where I can watch it. What was the favorite? What's that other African American horror movie that we saw? The Tales from the Quad Dead, which is one of the worst movies ever filmed.
Yeah, that was.
But I remember watching an interview with the director, and it made me feel sympathy. So I was like, it's not that horrible. But if you want to laugh, you can watch it. But like, if it's another sort of, if it's like Birdemic, which is an atrocity to humankind,
that one is so bad though. It's like fascinating. It's fascinating.
I remember in Birdemic 2, the biggest thing that pissed me off is that they went to a Coke machine, a vending machine, and a Pepsi can came out, and that pissed me off more than anything else in that film. And it was an awful movie. But with
it's like they scientifically figured out how to make the worst movie
they
possible.
Really did. But anyway, so
the directing though, okay, it's like there'll be like that where you should see people like panicking or something, and it's like, let's have a scene lingering on sitting and slowly drinking a beer for 5 minutes.
I think that was supposed to be like pathos, and you're reading what's going on in the character's head. But they're the two.
Then have them
Kevin,
say shit.
Right, Kevin and Brittany aren't very good at emoting. They're good at emoting paranoia and a little bit of fear, but like they're not as good as the character Tony is, as in sort of emitting authority and just sort of unsettled. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's
and like he was like pretty good, but even he was like a little like, but it was fine. But the pacing of this movie is horrible. It could have been cut down. Like, it really could have been cut in half. It could have been.
You think this could have been a short film? Yeah, I can see that
definitely.
too. I thought it moved pretty quick for me, but the thing is, I was probably more engaged than you were.
No, I don't know why that angry. Like,
no, I understand. I can see why. Like what's going on. How this can probably affect a sort of casual viewer. Not saying you're a casual viewer because you've seen the same shitty movies that I have, but I can see somebody going, "Oh, pick it up, let's go." I had no problem with it. Like, I think once I see,
I've seen so many horror movies that now I have no patience.
You're done with the show as the last episode. But like, I think once I saw it was like an 80-minute runtime, I watched it in 2 40-minute blocks. And for that, it was fine. Like, I saw 40 minutes last night, and then I saw 40 minutes today.
No, I watched it straight. Like,
right,
so I made myself.
I can understand why that would be fucking, very even for an 80-minute film probably drags. Because like I remember on the rare occasions when we see an hour-long film and we're like, like it's like we discovered water.
I love shorter films. I love it.
We discover water in a desert. So even that Possession movie that we saw, the movie where it was like shot on film. I can't think of the name of the movie.
Lose?
Lose, right. Luz.
Yeah.
There's like 20 movies called Lose, but there's one called Lose on Shudder that you can watch.
It looks beautiful, but that
beautiful looking movie, but it sucked, but it was an hour long, so it made it tolerable. I don't know what the difference between 10 and 20 minutes, but apparently it does mean a lot for a lot of people. But I think I see what you're saying with the direction. I liked it a lot because I looked at it as an indie low budget affair, because I was watching, I was like, there's no crazy camera work, there was no swooping visuals, but to me it was competent filmmaking that I got what the story was. Like, my biggest issue was probably the acting. I understand. My biggest issue,
the story had potential, like it actually did.
It's
essentially,
it was kind of
cool.
Yeah, it's essentially The Thing, but set like in some sort of cozy cottage area. But we're not dealing with like a multitude of characters, and every 5 seconds you're guessing. But I do think that it does it well, as in like you get paranoid about certain characters, like the lady Margie when she comes in, the quote unquote Karen character, who acts like these people do in real. She acts like these people do in real life. That's the thing, is like instead of I hate to use the phrase because it sounds authoritative, but complying with somebody telling you to do something, they go to everything else. Like, Kevin asks her simply, what's your name, or where do you come from, just tell me what state you come from, and she goes to reach for a shotgun instead. So that's like, that would happen in real life. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not strange.
And she would deserve to die in real life then. Just fucking answer the question.
So I don't know if it's I think it's a little bit of social commentary. I think it's just a tiny bit of social commentary. The part where it's like three African American people, has this one like Caucasian lady there, and she's like flipping out.
And she's as horrible as you would expect. Like, I'm very happy when she does. And she was a demon, right? Like, they are demons.
I would guess, because it leaves that open ending. Because at the end,
then they go to see those other people, and they clearly were just fighting demons, I guess, or something.
Or maybe they themselves were demons. You don't know, because remember they asked the guy at the end, the stranger. They said, "We were waiting for you." Does that mean they were waiting for him? Because
and also the guy Tony says they're waiting for us.
Right. So and then he's like, he does that horrible acting part. Oh, did I say that? I meant they should be waiting for us.
Yeah, but that's not him acting. That's the script.
No, that's the script. No, so there is kind of wonky. That's
what I'm saying. The dialogue is like terrible. Somebody should have reread it out loud.
But I do.
That's what you have to do.
I do like the open ending of it. I knew it was gonna open. I was like, fuck, because there's parts where I hate open endings. And I wish this was more of a closed ending, just for myself, because I know there's probably not going to be a sequel to this. But I like that the fact that you're left with that question because the guy at the end, I guess it was Walter. So that means that lady Margie, that wasn't even her name. Her name was Marcy or something like that.
Her name was like Carla.
Right. And so at the end, that guy's like, we were waiting for you. So were those people waiting for him because they were just regular people that saw a crazy man was shooting? Or were they demons knowing that he was exterminating demons and they were waiting for him?
Well, I don't know, but they had blood all over them and stuff. So
right, so they obviously must have been dealing with their own shit out there. So who knows what the fuck's going on? That I liked, because I was waiting for that type of ending with this movie. Like, the sort of the invitation ending where the crazy person's right. But the ending for this is so like it's not concrete that you don't know. But all those people covered in blood.
But then also the guy blows his brains out. It's like, why did he do that?
Because he probably thought they were fucking demons. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So it is open ended, and it does give that sort of the crazy person was right ending. But it gives you just enough leeway to not know if that's true or not. So I think our biggest issue, obviously, both of our issues, we do have shared issues with the dialogue.
Script.
And you have issues with the pacing. I didn't have issues with the pacing as much as
because it'll be like, oh, my dad's dead, and then it'll just cut to them like sitting and like talking like weird dialogue. It's like, what are you doing? You should be like crying, panicking.
I know that to me was the biggest fuck up. Was the directing on their emotions, because
and there'll be like this long silences and stuff. Fucking cut it down. What are you doing? Like,
right. A lot of it didn't make any sense with that sort of. That's why it was the human interaction parts where I think were the worst part of this film. But other than that, I liked what it was doing. I think I obviously I'm giving it a little bit more leeway, and I don't know if that completely like fucks the movie for you. Like,
yeah, it does.
Okay. So let me see what.
I was getting too annoyed. I was getting annoyed at them. Like, it was.
So he's directed only other shorts. So 3 short films: The Possession, Whispering Gallery, and A Walk on Cutter's Ridge. So obviously this is his first feature.
He should have kept it a short. It'd probably be better.
I wonder what I actually like the film. So but I guess we split on this.
Well, you're wrong.
What are there any other points that you'd like to get along across with this film? Because it's pretty funny. You can actually very easily explain what this movie is in a very short episode, which what we have done. But it's an outright.
The boyfriend Tony is a demon at the end, right? Like, because he kind of says no one's going anywhere or whatever. Like, and you could see.
He said nobody's getting married, but you can look at that as saying is that he's known that he's not going to marry this woman anymore. So it's just the right amount of doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but why would he say that? I don't know.
Because he's stupid. They do that for movies. Like, instead of saying, like, when he knocked the brother out and you hear the sound of the gunshot, he could have just said, no, your brother's knocked out. I mean, if I was a sister, I still wouldn't fucking believe him because I heard a gunshot go off.
Yeah, that would have been the sensible thing, but he doesn't say that even once.
Right. So, I mean, this is just like any other film, like where movies need a stupid character to keep the plot point going along. They need aloof dialogue for people to keep the story going, to have enough doubt. It's very stupid. Like in real life, I mean, no, I didn't shoot your brother. He's passed out. Although that still would, if somebody told me, I'd be like, okay, good. I'll still fucking run away because I wouldn't believe somebody if I heard a gunshot go off.
Right.
So they need that in these type of films to keep the story going along, to have that reasonable doubt in a movie. But I can definitely see, in reality, this is not how it fucking would go. Like, this is not really how it would go. I do like the idea of somebody, because to me it's scary to walk into that situation. You know, when they just walk in and there's like dead bodies everywhere, I'd be shitting bricks.
I've been there before. It's not that bad.
Okay, but it certainly is a frightening fucking thing where you don't know what's going on and you just walk into this and you're like, oh shit, is this still going on? So I appreciated that, and I think it had a great premise. But obviously it's in the execution of the film. It's in the execution of the film. Either you're in or out. I was in. Danny was out. So what rating would you give Blood Conscious 2021 by Timothy Covell?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Your parents just died, and a whole bunch of other people just died, and you see their dead bodies, and you're a little upset.
Yeah, you're not. You can only cry off camera.
You're not that upset. You're a little upset.
So I would give this movie a 6.5. I was gonna give it a 7, but I guess your points make sense to me. But a 6.5 as in an entertaining type of film for the stranger who's been gunning people down left and right, and he figures out a brilliant way to, which is another point to there being demons, by almost stripping down nude to put his clothes on a dead person that he killed, who he says was a demon. And just bringing up that point of nude, shout out to all the sex workers for OnlyFans, because now OnlyFans doesn't allow pornography.
What the fuck?
I don't know. They made their money. OnlyFans
did it. They build it on the workers' backs, and then they fucking screw them over.
Yep.
I fucking hate corporations.
Yeah, it's like Tumblr. Yeah. Remember they were big and they had porn, but then
but Tumblr lost all their money after that.
That's what we did in solidarity. Remember, HorrorDeconstruction used to be on Tumblr, and then because they got rid of all the porno, we left. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so shout out to sex workers. Yes, this is a depraved podcast, but we appreciate people of all walks of life. And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
0, 0, 0, 1, 1.
The HorrorDeconstruction.